You're listening to the Life in General podcast with Tom and Jaye. An hour of informative commentary on today's headlines, current events, and what's going on around the world and around the corner. And now, here are your hosts, Tom and Jaye Darden.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Life in General podcast here with Tom and Jaye, coming at you hot and heavy from a small hiatus where, men flying around the world, solving world issues, not wanting to record episode 50 while we were next to each other because it might have ended up in a full-on scuffle. And, yes, assault charges, battery, the whole 9 yards would have happened. So, but, yes, welcome. Thank you all for sticking with us. Thank you for your patience. And now things are back to what we'll call normal, whatever anyone defines that as. And we're going to start this episode off the same way we do every time and ask the man of the hour how he is and how he got back to sunny Ecuador. So, hey, Dad, how are you?
Back at the beach house now, and it was an interesting 2 weeks. It was a whirlwind of stuff. There were folks and
stuff indeed.
Brother from Georgia, daughter from Little Rock, daughter from Fairview, son from Hendersonville. Everything was just like and it's like it was something going on every day, man. So back at the beach house, and everything's quiet except the dogs, and
I have no doubt,
all good here. So
well, and like we talked about before, hot indeed. You don't have to freeze to death when it's 75. So that'll be exciting to get back to your roots or your norm and whatnot. Right. But should be good stuff. So we had a list of topics that you wanted to cover that you. I fed you a pad and a pen about day 2 or 3 when you were here, and you just started writing. So why don't we just go down the proverbial list?
I took those when I left. By the way, I know. You started looking for them. I kept those.
So. Well, we spare no expense when it comes to office supplies here. So all good there. But yeah, so why don't you start firing them off, and then. Of course, we're going to have, I'm sure, many discussions tonight about, the state of things and how wild good old America is. So, fire it up.
Well, you had an election. Your election day was like Tuesday or something for primary elections. Mm-hmm. Now, I don't know who was running or what was going on, but watching your local news was interesting because some of the stories that they talked about. I thought, and I know it's local news, but it's like, is this what this is what you're talking about, and the world's crumbling, or the country's crumbling, and this is the kind of shit that you're talking about. But one of the things that they talked about was the Waffle House shooter 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay, do you remember when?
So they circled back around to that specifically, with a purpose. It wasn't just like. Oh, we're talking about this guy from 4 years ago, right?
I understand it. But why didn't they kill him when they had the chance? I don't understand that. He killed 4 people. It was proven, and they caught him. And they trying to make the guy that got the gun away from him a hero. Mm-hmm. He killed 4 people. Why is he still alive? I don't get that. You could have dusted his ass when you caught him in the woods. But it's 4 years later, and it's like, oh, he's going to trial, and he's going to spend the rest of his life in jail. That's your tax money. Mm-hmm. Your tax money taking care of him. Your tax money. Yeah. Let me find out where that damn camera is. That's your tax money. You're going to feed him, house him, food, medical, dental. Y'all should have shot him when you had the chance. I mean, it was absolute that he killed the people. Mm-hmm. It was absolute. Okay. Anyway, I just thought that was interesting. And speaking of killing people, you were supposed to execute a guy while I was up there too.
When, of course, when he says you, the state of Tennessee, I believe, is what he's talking about.
Yeah, you're supposed to
my
put
hood, get the black hood on, right? And then head in there.
Yeah, hanging from the guy.
So
the state of Tennessee was supposed to execute this guy that had been on death row since 1989. Mm-hmm. He killed his wife and 2 sons or something like that. Been on there since 1989, and they go to execute him, and there's something wrong with the juice. They can't give him the lethal injection because there's something wrong with the juice. Well, now all the advocates are like, ooh, we tried to tell you all along it's inhumane and all that kind of stuff. Now they want that. Now they want to know who makes the juice, what's in the juice, who administers the juice, where they ship the juice. I mean, they want complete transparency. That's not how this works. You're gonna want the name of the person that injected him next. Are you kidding, man? When they had the firing squad, they only gave like 2 people out of 5 the bullets, and nobody knew.
Well, the others were what, blanks or whatever. So
yeah, so everybody shot and everybody fired, but nobody knew who the lethal shots were fired.
Right.
You can't get that deep into this stuff, but they should have killed him a long time ago too. I don't understand why they drag these people along at taxpayer expense like a ball and chain. I mean, we could go round and round about the death penalty and all that kind of stuff, but this was undeniably, he was convicted undeniably and without a reasonable doubt.
I got you.
Like the Waffle House shooter, without a reasonable doubt. Who was the guy that killed all those people? God, I can't think of his name, in Nashville. And this guy used to come into the restaurant that I ran up in the east, across from East High School.
Oh man, I can't tell you his name.
I want to say like Danny Ray Barnes or Billy Ray Cyrus or something. I don't know, but anyway, he came in there to eat breakfast every day, and we had no clue. And then he'd leave after he got his tummy full and go out and kill somebody. I mean, it was ridiculous how many people that guy killed. Why is he still there?
Was this back in the 90s?
Yeah.
It wasn't Paul Dennis Reed, was it?
Yes, it was.
There you go. Yeah.
And he killed Sarah and Steve at the Captain D's in Donaldson.
Seven murders is what they say
at
three fast food restaurants.
Yes. I don't get it. I don't get it, but we can, I'm a kill them all and let God sort them out kind of guy. I don't understand why we drag those people around. I really don't. They're a burden to society.
Okay.
They really are.
Well,
but
and
anyway,
to that end, I'm not gonna fight you on your opinion there, but I would like to inquire, why do you think it is you have the thought process of kill them all and let God sort them out?
Being in the corrections business for years.
Okay.
Being in the penal system for years.
Okay, yeah.
That's just kind of the way I look at it.
So you didn't didn't ever meet a person in there who was like down in their luck or wrong place, wrong time, and kind of had some amount of compassion for that person, or was it just always everyone's just a thug and they are, let them kill each other and eat each other on the inside and all that?
Yes. It was funny. It was funny when I was in. Pardon me, it's a little warm down here. I think it was Memphis. They had a guy, they called him the Screamer, and he was the Delata Screamer.
Okay.
Now, I didn't know what Delata was. I had to ask somebody what it was. But he would come in he had 245s, and he would come into a pharmacy and just scream, Delata, 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 Delata. They actually they caught him, and they actually gave the guy driving the getaway car more years than they gave the Screamer.
Why is that? Do you think?
I don't know. I never did figure it out, but he was explaining it to me, and it wasn't like he was going to. I didn't know if he was going to shoot somebody if he didn't get the Delata. They gave him the drugs, and he went on about his business. But
armed robbery or an aggravated assault or whatever the heck it is.
Yeah, and if they add, this is just general knowledge for people that don't know. If they add aggravated to your charge, you get more time. Like simple assault, they just say assault and battery. Okay. But if they say aggravated assault, you're going to get more time when they put aggravated on anything, just so people know if they get caught or something.
Well, because they'll be aggravated if they got more time. So it's a cyclical thing there, right?
Yeah, they're going to be, they damn sure are going to be aggravated when they do the sentencing, and they
Throw
get
the
like
book at
10,
them, right?
10 more years because they put the word aggravated in front of whatever.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's kind of wild.
Pretty crazy. I didn't understand so they postponed the execution of this cat till June.
Okay.
And everybody's all up in arms about the execution. You know, I'd have rolled him right out of that bed and rolled him into the electric chair and just lit his ass up that night, man. I mean, because he was supposed to go. You gotta make a point with people, man, and let them know. Because now it's like, was it you? I don't remember if it was you or my brother that I was talking to about this, and said, do you think people consciously think of the end result if they do something? Do you think before they shoot somebody or before they rob the pharmacy, if I rob the pharmacy and shit goes south, this might happen? Do you actually think they think about that before they do it? No.
Well, I thought the point of that, excuse me, I thought the point of that was, in the law, was to determine the degrees in which homicide occurs, right? If it's first degree, then it was or it could be premeditated, right? Where they are thinking about this, very much so, because they're doing that with a purpose, right?
With a plan, yeah.
Right. Now, that plan and purpose, they may have a different set of outcomes in mind when it comes to somebody who's going to, say, go out with a bang, right? They're going to kill everybody and then themselves, or die by police suicide, whatever they call it.
Right.
Or it could be crime of passion, and someone just says, "Hey, like, I'm pissed, I'm doing this," and they're seeing red, and they just kind of go. But I think some do, and then I think there are some that definitely don't. But I don't think you can take a broad brush and paint the world like that and just say, no one ever thinks about the consequences of their actions. Because I can tell you from experience, I think about the consequences of my actions all the time, right? Like, and that's not to say I do it every single time I take an action, but there are definitely times when, looking ahead, trying to plan and whatnot, like, we're semi-intelligent creatures sometimes. I'm not going to say all the time, but I do think some of the time, where some of us, try to think about that sort of thing. But
some more than others. Yeah. Wait, did I say that? Some more than others.
Well, I mean, statistically, that's just true. So,
and I saw this on the news too, and it just made me crazy. The Texas National Guardsman throws off his Kevlar, jumps into the Rio Grande to save a woman that was being washed away by the river.
Yeah.
Gets her to safety, and then it pulls him in, and he drowns. Are you kidding me, man? She was illegally crossing the river into the United States, and this guy died. It was in Eagle Pass, Texas.
Oh, okay.
Was where they were crossing.
Yeah.
And he saw her struggling, and he went in to help her, and it cost him his life. That's wrong on all kinds of levels. All kinds of levels. Did they shut that passageway down at that point? What did they do? Because they lost a military man. Really? I know Greg Abbott had to be out of it, and Ted Cruz had to be out of their minds when they lost a military person to a person illegally coming into the country. They might as well shot him when they walked in, crossed the border and came up on the shore and just pulled a gun and shot him because he was dead.
So did they pull him out of the river later?
They found him. At this point, when I made these notes, they hadn't found him yet.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
They hadn't found him. They found his Kevlar, his cell phone, and something else that was in the river. The Kevlar was on the bank, but the cell phone and something else was in the river that they found floating along the river. Crazy. Yeah, that's just, man, that's wrong on all kind of levels. All kind of levels. And to that, I had to be vaccinated to come back into the United States. To come into Ecuador, just be vaccinated.
Yeah.
Yeah, and show that. They just did away with the mask mandate down here, inside and out.
Oh, okay.
No buses, no planes, not in the mall anymore. Nobody has to wear a mask anymore. Of course, there's still a bunch of them wearing them, but now they don't have to. And so I asked Pat months ago, what is that guy going to do? Then that's all he does is sell those masks. And he's got his money tied up in that inventory of masks. What's he going to do when they do away with the mask mandate? And then nobody's got to wear them, so nobody has to buy them. What's he going to do?
He's going to sell something else.
There's several vendors down here, but you're hung with that inventory, man. But coming into the United States, I had to produce a negative COVID test within 24 hours of departure and be vaccinated when I came into the U.S. Okay, and they checked both of those. But coming back down here, I just had to be vaccinated. So, and I got the Chinese vaccination because I wanted to be vaccinated by the people that created the virus. So I figured they'd know best how to stop it. So I got the Sinovac, which is the Chinese vaccination.
Wow.
You want a vaccination, big boy? Yeah. So
I suppose so. That's that is interesting that they're stopping the mask mandates down there.
Yes,
but I mean, you're going to have people who wear them like all the time. I mean, if you look at certain countries,
we got one of the lowest rates of sickness down here and hospitalizations and deaths. It's just a minute percentage of the population down here. Mm-hmm. It's all bullshit, man. And they're finally figuring it out. So I thought it was interesting when they talked about Ecuador on the news and how many flowers that they were exporting from down here for Mother's Day.
Oh, wow. That's kind of wild.
And that would be next Sunday coming up. You might want to touch base.
You mean this coming Sunday?
With your mama? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what day that is because I don't have a calendar right here in front of me, but it's soon.
Yeah, it is.
It's like the 8th or 9th or something.
Yeah. It's the 8th. So,
okay.
It is the 8th. So this should come out before then. So try to give everybody a warning.
Yeah. Everybody's got one. Everybody's got a mama.
That's it. So, well, that's pretty different.
Speaking of Texas.
Okay.
Speaking of Texas.
Tejas.
The 10th bus has arrived in D.C. full of immigrants. And he said, if you keep letting them come in, we're going to start busing them to Delaware. And Ron DeSantis said in Florida, we're going to start busing them to Delaware, to your home state.
How is the current administration allowing them to enter? Is it just because of policy, or are they essentially saying you're not giving us any funding to make a proper barrier? Or because to me it sounds like for one, it's a publicity stunt. It doesn't really do a whole lot to do that sort of thing. But I want to know where they are, kind of the more flippant way of saying it is, where do they come off sending them to other parts of the country as punishment for anything when you're in a state? And remember, we can move around. We don't have to stay in one spot. And if we don't like Texas, you don't have to be there, right? But if there are immigrants coming there because they border almost all of the top of Mexico, right? Why are they punishing other parts of the country? Air quotes, right? It's not necessarily
where do you get off letting them come in? Where do you get off allowing them to come in undocumented?
How are they letting them come in? Who's letting them?
They didn't finish the wall. All the materials were paid for. All the materials were down there where they could have put the wall in, which would force the people to the port of entry, and they stopped building the wall.
So why doesn't Texas take it upon themselves to fix the wall? Finish
Why
it.
should they have to bear that expense?
Okay. Then they don't get any
They're
say.
working on it. Trust me, they're working on it.
No doubt in my mind, man.
Let me tell you, Greg Abbott's he's working on it. He's trying to figure out who he can get, but why should they have to bear the expense? You're not enforcing the border laws whatsoever. I mean, there's no ifs, ands, or buts. You're just allowing people to come across the damn border, man.
That's very fair.
So I don't care if you're coming across in Arizona or New Mexico or California or Texas. They're coming across and not using a port of entry and not entering illegally. They're not entering the country legally. They're not doing it. So there's no argument there. There's no argument. They're doing it. They've opened the borders and it's wrong. They've opened them and it's wrong.
They've opened the borders.
It's wrong. It's wrong.
I guess. But can you define to me what they opened the borders and it's wrong is?
Biden, when he got elected, said we're going to let everyone that is seeking asylum in America come into America.
Okay.
So now they're coming into America any way, shape, or form they can. I don't know if they're coming in helicopter plane, swimming across the Rio Grande. They found, they catch truckloads of them every day. Mm-hmm. They'll have a semi truck coming across the border and they'll open it up and there'll be, 50 people inside the damn trailer where they were smuggling them because they make so much money doing that shit. They're making millions every day.
I have no doubt.
These people paying them to get out of Mexico or Honduras or Guatemala or, wherever they're coming from, man, Venezuela.
Why
they're
do
making
you
millions
think
of dollars.
We don't put up as much of a fuss about Canada? Like, I don't think there's a gigantic border up there, but why aren't we complaining about that?
Why would Canadians don't want to live here, man?
If your Canadian brethren up there are trying to, bash, baby Trudeau and all of that.
Only on the hockey ice are they trying to bash everybody else, man.
Okay.
Because it's playoffs.
Wonderful and topical.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was in Buffalo Wild Wings yesterday and watched. I'm dating the episode, so spoiler, where the Predators got like 5 goals on them in like the first period and a half. It was ridiculous. My buddy looked up when they scored the first goal and then the second, and he thought it was a replay. It happened so fast because it was under like 2 minutes or something. It was just bananas. I think it was the Avalanche. The Avalanche, okay. I think. Like maroon and blue jerseys. They just took them to school, man. It was bad.
Wow. Wow. Well, they're vying for positions to play for the Stanley Cup, I guess.
Right. It's playoffs, and that's what's happening. For
soccer and hockey. Don't know much about it. don't really know much about it. I do know that they had the first soccer game in Nashville, professional soccer game, like Sunday when I was down there.
You know what's amazing about soccer? And hey, bless you all to all of our soccer fans, because if a game can end in a freaking draw, i.e. nobody wins, I'm not a fan. Like,
is that what happened?
I believe if I read Facebook correctly, an old what do you call it? An old peer of mine who is a big Nashville guy. He was like, "Yeah, I'm here at the very first game, and it was super fun, and the game ended in a draw." And he looked happy as can be. And I'm thinking to myself, No.
That's like kissing your sister.
Ugh.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
It's a draw. It's like,
I guess.
God. It wasn't a loss, but it wasn't a win either, I guess. I don't know.
I think for some it would be considered a loss, but
well, sure. Yeah.
But it was just, that is, to me, is just very strange. And they have it in football now too, right? You can have a tie right at the end of a game. And
that was an inaugural game. Wasn't it the very first game played in that stadium, like Sunday afternoon or something? I think it was like the
first real game, I'll say. But I mean, I'm sure it would have been fun because everything's brand new and everything, looks good and it's all well kept and people are excited.
Sure.
Like, yeah. But that was just so funny to me.
It only held it was kind of funny because it only held like 35,000 people or something like that. And I think they're going to find that there's probably more soccer fans than that, but it shouldn't be hard to fill that place up for sure. Only holding that many folks. 30 something thousand at Geodis
30,000 seat stadium with a 360 degree canopy. So 30,000. Yeah. Geodis Park. I mean,
Geodis Park.
Kind of cool. Yeah. But the Geodis or whatever, is just the brand that, like Nissan Stadium, stuff like that. So
don't get me started. That they went back and forth about that stadium while I was there too.
Yeah, go ahead. Fire it up. Unless we're jumping out of order there.
Why they need another stadium? That one holds like 73,000 or something like that. And I know it's been there for a minute, but what's wrong with it? It's on the river. It's got parking. It's got jumbotrons. It's got bathrooms. I mean, what? And okay, why do they need a new stadium? That's the first thing. The second thing is, where are they going to play while that stadium's being built, which will take 2 years? And the third thing is why are they taxing hotel motel tax? Why are they taxing everybody that comes to Nashville? And they might be going to Country Music Museum, or they might be going to the Nashville Zoo, or somewhere like that. They might be going to the soccer park. They're not even watching football, but they're paying for that stadium. I don't help me out.
Okay,
help me.
Okay, so your first thing was why are they making a new stadium?
Why they need a new stadium? Yes.
Okay. One, it might have more seats, right? Because that one can hold 69,143 people comfortably. I say comfortably, that's bullshit, but that's what it says online. So, what does that mean? Well, maybe the next one is going to hold 100 or 75 or 80, right? Another thing too is if they can pull it off, make it one that can have a freaking roof. Because what's exciting is watching football in the comfort of your own home, right? Well, if you can make the stadium experience similar to that, but you have at that point then the camaraderie factor, which we know you hate, but it is what it is. And you can all be in there, not get rain, sleet, snow, not bitching about the wind messing up the kick, any of that shit. And so new is good, right? New equals growth, equals more, equals blah, right? So then you asked why or where are they going to play? Well, they don't have to tear the old one down instantaneously to make the new one, right? So
where are they going to put the new one?
Wherever the hell they can find space, right?
I would think that's a prime location where they are now, right there on the river with downtown in the background and stuff.
It could be, but there might be a better spot that someone thought about, 5 years ago, and they think, oh, well, this is the time, this is the place it needs to be. It could be
kind of like the Nashville Speedway that's out in Lebanon,
right? Could be.
Yeah,
so to that end, they might play there, or if they have to tear that one down, well, there are other places to play football. I mean, we have the Bridgestone Arena, we have the new soccer stadium, we have a bunch of different places, right? Where that construction, I mean, it'll happen pretty fast, right? Because you don't want to lose that income of the fans and yada yada. So they'll either build it somewhere else, like they could build it right next door, right? I forgot what baseball field it was, but they built the other one across the street. So all they had to do was walk across the street when they were done. So that is something that they could very well do. Yeah, it's a prime location. Perfect. Just put it right next door to it, right?
Okay.
Then you want to talk about earning money, or I'm sorry, having a tax, right? What we'll call...
It's a hotel motel tax. It is.
Hotel motel tax. I mean,
Nashville already has the highest one in the United States.
Well, so, sure, but
hospitality tax.
Sure. Well, Nashville also has Bridgestone, the Titans, soccer now. So they got hockey, soccer. We got baseball with the Sounds. We got it all. I mean, it's very, very little you can't find in Nashville.
And country music.
Well, what's cool is you can find any kind of music. It's not just country, right?
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah,
you have
you're right.
Country Music Hall of Fame or the museum. You have Opry. You have all sorts of shit to do. Now, to that end, we're going to tax you more to help build this stadium, but it's also going to help do other things, right? It's not like 100% of that tax is going to build this new thing. They're going to allot a percentage to it, and it's going to help because the hotels and motels are going to pick up more and get more business because, they got a brand new Titan Stadium, or hey, they got a brand new soccer stadium or whatever. So, and we discussed this while you were up here. They're not only utilizing that hotel motel tax for like to say, hey, it's going to be just for the stadium, but things are being like you come to Nashville, and most folks that I'm aware of, you don't just come for a day and leave, right? You don't come just for a Titans game and move on. You're going to come on a Thursday or Friday night, go out onto Broadway or go out on the 2nd Street, right? Hang out there, go to several bars, go sing karaoke, go do whatever. The next day, you're either going to go to the Frist Arts Center or you're going to go to the Country Music Hall of Fame or find something else to do. Then on Sunday, you're going to go to the football game that you've been waiting all week to do, and then you're going to leave out after that. So it's something where if they're going to spend some money on that, it doesn't seem like it's that big of a deal, because that's part of the draw, right? That's part of what got you here. And if they have a nicer stadium, then it's going to presumably attract more people from outside, right? So
you should work for the hospitality commission in Nashville to tell people, what's going on in Nashville.
No, not I.
Why do you think they haven't put a roof on Lambeau Field? Green Bay.
Oh.
Where it's always freaking cold and snowing and shit during the winter. When do they play football? It starts in like
September, August.
Yeah. And then they play all the way to January or February. The Super Bowl's now the Super Bowl's in February.
Yeah, now the Super Bowl's in February. They probably aren't messing with Lambeau because it's Lambeau. It's just a tradition, like landmark kind of thing. And also,
let me ask you a question. Where are they going to play the Music City Bowl while they're building this stadium, big boy, that brings in, let's say Kentucky plays LSU or Alabama plays, well, they're way too good to be playing the Music City Bowl, but Georgia plays Ohio State or something like that, Music City Bowl. Where
do they have to play in Nashville?
It's the Music City Bowl.
Yeah, but that means nothing if the stadium's
it's a Nashville thing, man. I mean, it's a Tennessee thing.
Vanderbilt
I play
Stadium,
Tennessee.
Geodis
Not
Park.
This. Not nationally televised at the bowl games on the 29th of December.
Geodis, right?
It's a soccer park. They made it for soccer. It only holds 30,000.
Nothing, though. Have you seen a soccer field?
It only holds 30,000 people, man. They're going to want like 100 to come to the Music City Bowl, and Nissan Stadium only holds
69,000. Like, there's no answer to your question that you're going to like then, because we have to find a solution is what you're asking me here.
You can't play it in Memphis because that's where they play the Liberty Bowl.
Perfect. Well, if you have to play it in Nashville, you can at least get half the capacity, right, and go to the Geodis place. You could try Bridgestone, but that's only 20,000
play it in Knoxville, where the stadium holds 100,000 people in Knoxville.
You could try.
Where they play the toilet bowl every year.
But
not a Tennessee fan. So
the reason I didn't
throw you off track.
No, you didn't. The reason I did not bring up Knoxville and Memphis is because when I said, do they play it somewhere else other than Nashville, you said it's called the Music City Bowl. So,
okay. No,
you're contradicting yourself.
Come here.
It doesn't make any sense.
Bring me the knife, baby. I'm fixing to slit my wrist.
Oh, okay. Well, the Life in General podcast is in no way condone or advise self-harm, no matter the situation. So,
or suicide or anything like that.
That's why I said self-harm. It covers that, and you don't use certain words. So,
presidential pardons. He presidentially pardoned Sleepy Joe 75 non-violent offenders with drug-related cases.
Okay.
Is that who you want to put out on the street? Is the drug dealers, man? Are you shitting me? I'm going to pardon you and commute your sentence because you wasn't violent. You just gave everybody drugs that they died from.
You don't know that they died
sold
from
narcotics. Well, they sold narcotics or something. I mean, come on, man. Come on, man.
Well,
come on, man. Come on, man. You like to put that in there. Come on, man.
You said or something, but what's going to occur when
you need to have that, looked at?
What? Yes, we discussed this. May the 20th is my day, so it took a month to get in somewhere.
Did it really?
It did.
Wow.
And one thing that drove me insane was my insurance information wasn't right in front of me, so they said no. So I had to call them back. So that's America for you. Anywho, America. Yes, home of the free and land of the brave, indeed. You were talking about presidential pardons. But you also said they are non-violent offenders, i.e., mostly drug-related. Okay.
Correct. That's correct.
You just made the argument not 30 minutes ago, because I'm watching the timer, about not keeping people on taxpayer dimes for the crimes they committed. Now,
stop watching the clock.
And I was like, now you're talking. I have to timestamp these things, right? So I can see just how long it took you to either forget your last point or we've moved on so far that we're circling back.
We're going to circle back,
Perfect.
Circle back. So, like peppermint patty, circle back.
There you go. Yeah, exactly. You don't want us to pay for them, and it's nonviolent folks who most likely will have to do some kind of check-in, some kind of program, some kind of this, that, and the other. I don't think it's just a get out of jail free card. Now, I'm very ignorant to this point, but I don't know. It's just like a, hey,
I don't know either.
See you, Carl.
Yeah. See you in September.
Stop selling drugs, Carl. And it's like, okay, they're gonna have some sort of eye on them. However,
I spent the money that my mother gave me for singing lessons on drugs. That's why I'm like I am today. You don't want me to sing, do you?
That's kind of an interesting kind of segue into a topic that we can discuss ad nauseum. But do you think folks should be in jail or in prison for drug offenses?
Yes. But that being said, speaking of drugs, your grandmother turned 93 on May the 2nd. My mother.
Congrats, Mar.
93.
Mm-hmm.
Damn. Have you seen the world evolve?
Yeah, somebody was born in 1920 up all the way to, what, 2023?
29. Yeah. She was born in 29. My brother's born in 49. So, yeah.
Good Lord.
Yeah, good Lord is right. God bless America. So,
I was going to say, they didn't have planes back then, but they were close. They had to catch up a little bit. But
the Wright brothers are still trying to figure it out.
Right.
Where we went wrong.
Could be. Yeah. That's something else. I mean, 93, I hope it doesn't last that long for myself, because that's a little too much for me.
There's a lot of longevity in your family.
That's what some say.
So it might be around for a minute.
I'll live forever out of spite. That's how that's going to work.
No, your mother is.
Well, I'll put my brain in a jar or in the goo and then just be a little brain entity. So roll around a little robot or hover around.
Did you see that picture your sister put on Facebook of us?
You mean where we're just sitting around?
No, where we're standing outside of the restaurant, and it's your mother and your sister. And,
yeah, I mean, I had those pictures on my phone. I'm going to send them to you.
What a freaking reunion that was, man! God, oh.
I was like, that cut the audio awkwardly.
There you go.
I saw it. I was there. We took that picture on my camera, and I forwarded it to you and Melissa. So That's a very interesting photo. But my thought is more so, look how awesome that picture quality is. Thanks, Apple.
Yeah. Apple. Good. Very good.
I was going to say that. I don't know. That camera was pretty nice.
So they supposedly diagnosed Swallowmy Harris with Brovid. Do you really believe that? This was when I was down there visiting you.
I know. What gives...
Do you believe that shit?
What would stimulate disbelief?
Well, she's an idiot, and they're trying to keep her off the streets.
So in that instance, you're positing that they may be bringing up a false condition.
Everything they say is a lie, Jay. Everything that the government says is a lie. So why? I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
A false condition so they can take her out of the spotlight, you're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Kind of like with...
Joe don't run the waiver salute.
Well, kind of like with Joe, right? They put Joe in the bunker and then let Trump just flounder. And then it was all, well, look how silly this person is when the other guy you didn't hear from for 4 months. So
Right. I bet you there's some people with buyer's remorse right now. I guarantee you there's people with buyer's remorse.
Well, it's always going to be like that, though, no matter what.
Oh, man. You got to have gone, what in the hell was I thinking? Really? Now, I'm not a Trump fan. I've said it before. We don't need another 75 or 80-year-old guy in the White House. We don't. So I'm not a Trump fan. We don't need him. He did great things. God bless him. Joe's out of his mind, man. He's out in left field with no glove and his shoes untied. Really? Golly, man. Being up there in the States, what easy now. Watch, we're seeing some skin there. Being up there in the States, it was such a eye opener for me, especially when I had to fill the car with gas.
Sure.
I mean, the prices of things as compared to down here.
Can we not compare like apples to oranges, because they're not the same, right? Like
no, you're right. You're right. They're not. But golly, stuff is out of control, man. I mean, it's just some of the stuff just doesn't make sense at all. And everywhere we went, it seemed like everybody was mad at each other. But 90% of the places we went, other than the bars, everybody seemed like they were mad at each other or pissed off about having to be there and didn't want to work or didn't want to be there or didn't want to deal with us they didn't want to deal with me.
Say the common denominator here.
Watch out now.
Is you. So maybe they were just getting a little pissed off that they had to interact with you. Like,
I'm a nice guy.
Okay.
If you're nice to me, I'm nice. If you're nice to me, I'm nice to you.
Oh, as opposed to simply being nice for the sake of being nice.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Okay. That's how we should all live. Perfect.
There you go.
Indeed. Yes. Tit for tat, as they would say.
Well, a tit in the hand's better than two in the bra.
I really thought you were going to say Bush, and I didn't know where that was going to go, but
no.
Okie dokie. No. Holy smokes, man! Yeah, talk about not doing this for a minute, and then it's like, oh my goodness, there's Mr. Potato Head. It's our Potato Head segment, you know.
That's how I'm kind of feeling right now.
Yeah, I have no doubt.
Mr. Potato Head. Oh my gosh,
no doubt in my mind. That's for sure. But
that was. I think they're using that. COVID thing with Swallowmy Harris as a distraction. So
from
people every day, Ukraine, Afghanistan, the border, inflation, supply chain. Did you want me to keep going? Because I mean, it's the list is long but distinguished.
Okay.
I mean, it's a distraction because it's election time. Mm-hmm. You got your primaries going on and stuff, and it's like, well, she's sick. She can't go anywhere and endorse anybody or whatever. Don't nobody want her out there endorsing anybody. Losers.
Well, I was going to say, isn't it? It's just a 2-week period, right? in that case, they can. Well, what I'm talking about is the quarantine part of that ailment is you just do it for 2 weeks and then you move on, right? You keep rolling.
You had your primaries, and then your general election is November, isn't it?
November, yeah.
They vote them out. They were saying the other day that there could be you need to have that looked at, catastrophic changes in the White House and the House of Representatives. I mean, catastrophic. That they're going to lose so many seats and stuff, and there's so many people not running and retiring and losing that it could be just a complete wipeout, man, which would be interesting and sad at the same time, because are you going to get anything done? Because everything Joe puts forth, which is stupid or ignorant or is not benefiting the American people, they're not going to agree to it, because they run the Senate and run the House of Representatives. So it's going to be dead in the water. So nobody's going to do anything except just collect their money and stay in their home or their apartment that some donor's paying for.
That's fair.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see how to vote them out. Vote them out in November.
Well,
vote them out.
And I would say this. I don't necessarily just automatically think we need to have younger people in those seats, but you're going to have different mindsets and different points of view when you get those kind of folks in those seats. However, remember, younger folks have more progressive thoughts, right?
Okay.
To a degree. So you might get young people in there, and then they do everything that you don't want them to, and then it's going to be, well, they're young and don't have any worldly experience and blah, blah, blah. They're screwing it up for us, when in reality, it was screwed up from the start.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely it was. Absolutely.
I wouldn't say set up to fail necessarily, but
pretty close.
It's not getting any easier, it seems.
Right. You're right. You're exactly right.
But
I think you should run for office. I think there should be comments below about
yeah. Let me tell you.
Jay running for office. Yeah.
I was going to say, like, comment, and subscribe. Smash
the like button.
Smash the bell and tickle the like and all that. If you think I should or should not and never consider it running for office. So
yes, I think you should.
Yeah.
Yes, I think you should. I think it'd be great. Yeah, I think it'd be great, man. Start slow with like an alderman position or mayor in Hendersonville or something like that, and then go from there. I was excited when I was up there because I actually saw a sign where somebody was running against Sonny Weatherford, who's the sheriff of Sumner County.
Right. It was Bean or something like that? Or
he's running unopposed last year, and I thought he was running unopposed this year, but Bean is running against him this year. And I think, Bean's been around and see, the sheriff is not something, there's not a lot of controversy. So you don't hear or see much about it, but he needs to go. He needs to go, man. Cause he ran unopposed last year, and it's like, you gotta be kidding me.
Okay.
And bringing Sumner County to the forefront. They're building a new 6 or 7 story courthouse out there.
Yeah. We saw that. That looks insane.
Yes, it is.
It's one of those. I need to go get me a courthouse job just so I can go work on that brand new building. But then again, I totally understand when the other one is probably as old as you are, and we need a little facelift. You know what I'm saying? So.
Easy. I need a little facelift too. So
don't worry.
I did get a facelift because Hunter.
Yeah.
What's the name of the barbershop? We got to throw this out.
Blackheart Barber Company is where Hunter Pruitt is. If anybody out there needs to go get a fresh cut.
And this guy is great, man.
He's fantastic.
You took me down there. Yeah, he is. Is that on Woodland?
I think it's right off of Woodland.
The address is Woodland. I mean, I know he's in the alley, but he's got to have a frontage.
Right. It's like 9th or something weird because it's one of those alley streets, right? But
East Nashville.
Yeah, East Nashville. I've been
Oh man,
I've been following him around for like 4 or 5 years. So
yeah, it was a lot of fun, and he did a good job. Good job, Hunter at Black Heart Barbershop. Yeah.
So super cool.
And bringing that into mind, it's interesting because I was talking to Hunter about when you go in to get a manicure or pedicure, they ask you, do you want a glass of wine?
Yeah.
And I told him years ago, before you guys were born, I went to a barbershop and the guy had an old Coke machine, the kind you pull the door open and pull the drink out. Well, he had beer in that machine. Now, he had 3 chairs, but he was the only one there. It was a single guy. And he would, when you came in, he'd go, hey, Tom, how you doing? And have a seat. Want a beer, man? And you could go over and pick out whatever kind of beer you wanted out of the Coke machine. Yeah. And we were talking about it, and Hunter said they were trying to get a beer license or maybe a liquor license. I don't remember which, but they're trying to get a license for alcohol.
Yeah, something you can serve,
Yeah, so that when people come in, it gives them an option, and I was like, well, they do that shit at the nail salon. So as long as you're not running with your scissors, you'll be okay if they served alcohol. And he said, it's just a different, stylists and barbers and stuff run below the radar. People don't even think about them as being troublemakers, so to speak.
Or controversial, sure.
Yeah. And he's like, we're working on that. And I said, man, that'd be a huge deal. And I hope it works out for you, man. I mean, I don't know how it would work, but I think that's pretty cool. I don't see the difference in the stylist and the manicurist. Is that the way you say that?
Yeah, you could say that. One thing I would say in this instance is I'm not a one beer kind of person. So
okay. You're not.
I don't want to go in and be teased, and then because I can't obviously keep drinking while he's cutting your hair, right? That's just not because you don't want to start drinking your hair as it's falling off your head.
As long as he's not drinking, and he doesn't cut my ear off, I don't,
You don't want to drink hair because that's exactly what's going to happen. You're going to have your bottle there and be going like this, and then he's going to trim the top, and you're like, cool, I get to drink my hair now.
I think he's cool enough where he would say, hey, hold on before you take another hit off that, because I'm fixing to trim your eyebrows or trim your mustache or trim your beard or do the front of your locks or whatever. I think he'd give you a heads up on that.
He very well would, because he's a great professional. But the problem is your hair is like in your head and are being moved all the time while that's happening. There's way too much of a risk. And to that end, I just don't want one beer like that. It doesn't taste good enough. Any beer, like there's nothing that I'm like, with this meal, cider, beer, honestly, whatever it is, I'm like, you know what I'm going to go for with this sandwich? A single beer. Or a single cider or whatever.
I had 3 tacos in the airport in Miami.
Yeah.
And 2 beers, and I was pissed off.
I bet.
I mean, it's like, you got to be kidding, man. Now, the beers were $8 and a nickel a piece for a pint,
which is 16 ounces, not the imperial pint like in like in our homeland.
Ounces. 16 ounces in a aluminum can.
Right.
And I was like, Jesus, man, $8.05 for 16 ounces. We could buy a 6-pack and a half down here for that. Almost 2 6-packs.
Well, I was going to say, you can get one beer for $2. It's 22 ounces. So there's definitely a discrepancy there.
But I had some time to kill, so I was, trying to figure it out, and I did. Tacos were excellent, man. They were beef tacos and a side of guacamole, and man, let me tell you,
that's awesome.
Yeah,
good.
And then those bastards at American Airlines changed my gate where I had to go to the other end of the damn airport, so I had to get on the Sky Train. But everybody at American was they're really, really good people. Really nice people. Yeah, good folks.
That's very cool.
On the Sky Train. If you've never been to Miami, it is a very large
It is gigantic. And you will want to use the Sky Train, right?
Yeah. or the moving sidewalks. And like in Atlanta's the same way. I think they've got a SkyTrain in the moving sidewalks and stuff because it's a rather large airport also.
Well, and because with theirs, it's kind of like Nashville where there are two main thoroughfares. You go one way or the other, depending on what direction / airline you're going to. However, it's not big enough yet where in Miami, you go into one central hub and then they are literally so big and so far apart that you take the tram to one side to the other because it's just way too big and too much. So, but
yeah, I didn't remember when I got back down here to Guayaquil, which is where the international airport is. We got off and started to go down this runway, and I thought, well, this is pretty cool because it's all downhill.
Oh yeah.
Well, then you do a circle and come back up that runway, the runway next to it, and then you level off and go over here, and then you go over here, and it's like, holy smoke, man!
I got you.
Pretty incredible. Yeah,
it's different,
But I made it, and life was good. I had Pat had hooked me up with the paperwork I needed before I got back.
Oh,
so I had copies of all of it, dated when I was coming back. So all I had to do was lay the paperwork down, and the guy said, "Okay, good to go, man." Because
nice.
I already had it filled out. The declaration of health that comes from the ministry. They give you. They want to know where you've been and what you've been doing and how long you were there, where you live, and all that kind of stuff. So,
I was gonna say that's a lot of info, but at least you're doing it right.
Yeah,
following the rules and stuff.
Did. She slid that underneath me and said, "Sign right here." And I said, "Okie dokie." So I signed. I didn't know what I signed. I stapled it all together, and the guy said, "I need this page," and I said, "Okay, thanks. Take it. Have a nice day."
Definitely wouldn't make that a habit of not reading things before you sign it, but it's all good.
Well, yeah. Well, I knew it was some kind of app. She told me what it was, and I was like, "Okay, cool." And she put it in my file folder where all my documents were, because I had my cedula and my vaccine card and my visa and my passport, all those copies of papers in there. When you start overwhelming, it's actually interesting when you start overwhelming people with paperwork. They just like, okay, just go on.
Yeah, just roll.
Go ahead, man. Go ahead. Thank you.
Well, I mean,
because it looks like you got your shit together, even if you don't, so.
Well, and it's something too that they're either trying to slow you down a little to either get, the hot ones hot, and then they're going to, make a day out of that person, or you're going to be organized and say, look, it's all right here, leave me alone, and blah, blah, blah. And they're like, okay, they already know it's too much to deal with.
Right.
Move in and around and yada, yada. And they just put more and more stipulations on it and more barriers to it. So that has to be enforced by folks.
Yeah, someday they'll take that station down where, with the smaller amount of people that have the smaller amount of people that are sick, that pretty soon they'll do away with the checkpoint where people are coming in and out of the lane, because you got to be vaccinated to come into the country. You have to be vaccinated to come into the country. So and they're like, you don't have to wear a mask, but be wary of your fellow passengers. No, we all had to be vaccinated before we got on this plane. So I'm wary enough to not wear a mask with your HEPA air filter, probably the best in the world in the airplane. So yeah, but you still had people that weren't listening to the captain when he said mask are optional. You had people who weren't listening because they were on their phones or doing shit they shouldn't have been. So.
Well, it wasn't necessarily that they weren't listening. Some people probably, but then there's also some people who just want to stay masked up. Like they just feel safe. So.
That's right. That's okay. God bless them. God bless them. But when they tell you to pull away your electronic devices, like phones and laptops and tablets and smartwatches, put them on airplane mode, and people are still screwing around with that electronic device, I want to punch them in the face, because if the plane crashes because you're screwing around with your electronic device and it screws around with the plane on the computer on the plane, that people just they don't care, man, and they don't listen, and they don't do what people say, man. It's pretty incredible. I could see where they would have a problem in the air fighting or arguing with people, I can see where that shit would go down very easily.
Well,
very, very easily.
Luckily, technology has gotten to be to the point where I don't think it's as big a deal as it used to be. I mean, there was a point in time, I remember you bought me that little bitty black and white portable TV that had a screen that was about this big, and I had it on in the plane just to see what it would do, right? Because I was, young and dumb. And they came over and they knew something was messing with a frequency or an airway or whatever, where now they don't care. I mean, it's whatever, because I'm pretty sure the technology is good enough to where they're utilizing different, wavelengths or channels or whatever it is to accomplish their goal. But
right. Makes sense.
So
makes sense.
Yeah, it ain't too bad. We can polish this off with since it's about an hour. It actually is an hour right now. How in the world are they leaking preliminary SCOTUS, right? Is that what it is? Supreme Court people?
Yeah. Supreme Court of the United States.
Yeah.
Right.
How is stuff getting leaked like that, where they're talking about stopping, Roe v. Wade and Roe versus Casey or whatever? That to me would cause more of a controversy that sort of information is leaked than it would be about the point in contention.
Right.
Because if we have leaks in that, okay, well, if it can be leaked out one way, well, do you not think it can be influenced going the other way?
Sure.
Right? So,
sure. Right.
With that being said, I know like any system, it is, it's going to be flawed regardless because it's man-made and we're all flawed, right?
Right.
But that it was on Apple News. And I know why it's there. And I know it's going to be a gigantic stink. No matter what side you're on, it's just going to be that way. And we'll just have to see how that plays out, because that's going to be a cluster. And some people might call it dangerous. Some people might call it the right thing. It'll just be pretty interesting to see where that goes.
Well, I saw that, but I didn't chase it because I guess I didn't care.
And that's okay.
That's just me.
You don't have to care. Luckily, I was going to say, folks who live in America, or Americans, I'll say, you don't have to care about shit. And it is what it is, right?
That's right.
So
there you go.
The folks who
I think we should give a shout out to Evan up in Shepherdsville. Does he live in Shepherdsville, Kentucky?
I thought he lived a little bit further out, but
well, I mean, anyway, Evan, and I'm sorry we missed you last week. We're going to make up for it this week. He's one of our number one fans.
I was going to say, how are you making up for it if you're not still here? But that's fair.
Just trying to do something right.
Okay, that's very fair. Well, I will be sure to discuss this shout out with him when I see him on Saturday. So we will have many topics to discuss, I'm sure.
There you go.
But,
get him, Evan. Get him in my place. Say, look, man, come along and let God sort him out. Yeah, tell him.
I was going to say, man, big fans out there will probably follow your advice before they follow mine. So let's not be too violent in our.
Nobody listens to me, not my children or anybody else. So I've come to own that it's okay. It's okay. Kids aren't going to listen. I don't know shit.
When you say so, that went very
no, we're not going to get specific, or we're not going to go down that road. No,
from no one listens to me to my kids don't listen, and I've accepted that. Like, okay, that's pretty self-aggrandizing. Yeah. Okay. What a way to end the show. Welcome back, everyone. The Life in General podcast coming to you.
Pork chop.
2 more episodes before we've hit 1 year of episodes. 52 weeks.
Pork chop, greasy, greasy. We beat your team easy, easy. Woo.
Scintillating. We'll catch you all in the next episode.
See you.